What's up guys, Pollo here with the version 4 changes for 6.7 leaks, potentially the final changes before the patch goes live. I stream on Kick every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and if you find my video useful, please consider subscribing, it really helps the channel. First of all, Sandrone's signature weapon received an adjustment to both its attack and the stellar conduct bonus it provides. The weapon now gives more attack but less stellar conduct bonus. In practice, this only results in a very small DPS increase for Sandrone. The difference is so minor that it's basically impossible to notice in actual gameplay. However, the average number of stacks generated for the stellar conduct field with Sandrone in the team has changed. Why? Previously, the stellar conduct field gained 1 stack for every 3 cryo and electro hits registered, updating every 3 seconds. Now it checks hits registered every 4 seconds, but each stellar conduct hit also directly counts as 1 additional stack. Basically, all of this results in another small rebalance. Sandrone's average stack counts dropped to around 9. Because of that, her baseline DPS changes from 36.7k to 35.9k. It's a small reduction, but she still has the highest baseline DPS in the entire game. But wait, there are more changes, and these are much more impactful. YAE MIKO, right? She has a passive talent that occasionally triggers stellar conduct damage equal to 125% of her attack. Well, that 125% now has been increased to 200. Which significantly boosts her DPS. Back in version 3, her baseline DPS was 19.4k when paired with Sandrone. In version 4, thanks to this change, that DPS jumps all the way to 25.9k. That's a massive and meaningful increase. Keep in mind though, this specifically applies to a stellar conduct YAE. CYNO also received a change very similar to YAE's. As a reminder, CYNO now can trigger stellar conduct hits through his elemental skill. Previously, those hits scaled with 80% of his attack. Now they scale with 200% of his attack. This is an enormous buff to a stellar conduct CYNO. His baseline DPS went from 20.1k to 31.2k. Unlike YAE MIKO, these calculations are still theoretical because currently the only way to play stellar conduct is with Sandrone on the team, and Sandrone and CYNO on the same team, it's kind of weird. Still, there's a good chance future characters will also enable these stellar conduct reaction, just like Inefa, Lauma and Linnea enables lunar reactions today. So yeah, 31.2k is an excellent DPS value. He's basically the second strongest stellar conduct character right now. But once again, we'll have to wait and see what future stellar conduct characters bring to the table. Ryoflay also received a positive change. He triggers a couple of stellar conduct hits through his normal attacks, and in version 4 those hits scale a bit better. I won't go into too much detail because I'm planning a dedicated video covering him alongside several other characters. For reference, his baseline DPS was 17.9k in version 3 and now it's 19k in version 4. So yes, it's a nice increase, but nowhere near as dramatic as what YAE or CYNO received. Finally, let's take a look at the team comparison. Remember the Sandrone, YAE MIKO, TTC6 and Beidou C6 team? Well, in version 4, that exact same team now reaches 118.4k. The team's DPS definitely increased, but let's not celebrate too early, fellow Sandrone's mains. We'll still need more dedicated characters. And honestly, don't be embarrassed about that. It's completely normal. If you're one of those people who criticize Varka because he has too many dedicated supports, then many teams in this game worked exactly the same way. You are probably just repeating what other people were saying instead of forming your own opinion. That's something average players tend to do. The best thing you can do is avoid that mentality, think for yourself and develop your own judgment instead of blindly following the crowd. The final change is related to Ryoflay C2, Constellation 2, but we will save that discussion for another time. Long story short, its Constellation 2 is a little stronger now. That's all for today, everyone. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next video.